Hello and welcome to a Southerners video. Tyler Jett for McDowell Air Tour Service, and I'm here in Gloucester. I came up this weekend to see a massive wagons gig. It was amazing, and I've got an entire day before my coach at 4 PM. But I found something to do. I've come all the way to Gloucester Airport because it is a weekend and the Jet Aviation Museum is open. I've never been to this little museum before, so now's an ideal chance for me to tick it off, and I'm going to take you with me. Now, Gloucester Airport was home during World War II. And the years before and after, home to the Gloster Aircraft Company, and they designed some iconic planes including the Javelin and the Meteor, some of the early British jet fighters, and they also, pre-World War II and during World War II, provided a really awesome biplane called the Gloucester Gladiator, which was one of the last old World War I era biplanes ever built for the RAF. Right, enough of me waffling. You want to see the museum, don't you? So let's start with this replica of a Gloucester Gamecock. So this is a World War I era fighter built by the Gloucester Company. This is a replica. As you can see, part of the plane has been left undone because they want to show you like the building inside, the building work inside, like the wooden frames that the fabric would cover, which is really cool. And if you come around here and I zoom in, you can even see like how the control systems would have worked, because it was all weights and pulleys back then. And of course we've got some jets over here, including a Gloucester Meteor, of course. So here we have a replica fuselage section, at least, of a Hawker Hurricane. Obviously the backbone of the RAF during the Battle of Britain and the early years of World War II, before the Spitfire became more readily available. Then eventually the Hawker Hurricane was, production was phased out in favour of more modernised Hawker aircraft like the Typhoon and the Tempest. And here's another angle of the Gloucester biplane. So this Hurricane actually was a model replica designed to be used in the Battle of Britain movie from 1969, which is super cool, because I think that is arguably the greatest movie of all time. Because the movie only ever got 3 Hawker Hurricanes to use for the movie, so they had to build a couple of these replicas to stand in as ground Hurricanes. So here's a Gloster Javelin. This was one of the last planes that Gloucester made before they got, merged into whichever company it was they ended up with. I'll pop a note down below. But this was designed as basically a Cold War fighter jet, and in a way designed to replace the aging Meteor, which was obviously a World War II design. I'll show you the outside in a moment, but this is basically a cockpit, I'm guessing this is a restoration, of a Horsa glider. Now, Horsa gliders, which basically look like that, were used during D-Day in Operation Market Garden by the Royal Air Force, the British Army, and obviously the Commonwealth nations. And they were literally disposable wooden gliders that were designed to fly into behind enemy lines, drop off a load of soldiers, whether it be the SAS, paratroopers, regular infantry, etc. And then obviously they would start fighting from there. So this is a really cool little exhibit for a very oft-forgotten aircraft, or glider should I say. And this is the exhibit of the Horsa glider cockpit. Like I said, there's a model of a Horsa glider just above it. Like I said, there were cheap knockoff designs that were literally designed for one mission only, and then that was it. Here you have a rear angle view of the Gloucester Meteor and the Gloucester Javelin. Got that massive T-tail on the Javelin. I think less than 10 years of development and flight separate the Meteor, which was the first RAF jet aircraft, with the with the Javelin. So yeah, this museum is free entry, but it is always worth putting a donation in, or maybe going to spend some money in the cafe, because like I said, it doesn't cost a lot of money to keep places like this running. And as a free entry museum, this is really good for people who just want to do, cheap or free family stuff, especially in the Gloucester area. This place is open on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. It may open other times during the week, but you'll have to check. So I'm about to do a couple of tours here at the museum. So we're going to do this old British Airways BEA Hawker Siddeley Trident cockpit section, which spent several years as a training aircraft at London Stansted before it was broken up and moved here. And we're going to start off with obviously the iconic Cold War plane, the Vulcan. They've got a cockpit section that they acquired from Cardiff here. So let's get inside. A Javelin Sea Vampire cockpit that's been given to the museum from the Fleet Air Arm. The Sea Vampire being a naval version of the Javelin Vampire. And here we have a cockpit section of a Gloucester Meteor. This is the 4th oldest surviving jet out there, or what's left of it. Bit of information about this aircraft cockpit. It's very cool to see. Here we have a cockpit section of a Hawker Typhoon under restoration. There's only one complete Hawker Typhoon in the world at the moment, and that's the one I've seen at the RAF Museum, which we featured in our RAF Hendon Museum vlog. But the Typhoon was basically designed to be a replacement for the Hawker Hurricane, and it didn't last in production very long. It was surpassed by the Hawker Tempest, which was the last propeller-driven aircraft or fighter flown by the RAF. And the Typhoon's claim to fame is it was one of the backbone aircraft used by the RAF and Royal Canadian Air Force during D-Day. So this is the museum's Gloucester Gladiator. It is under restoration at the moment. It's going to take a while for this to be completed. But it's so cool to see the Gladiator all stripped bare, down to the bare bones, which you don't often see. Very cool.
Hello. Hello. So have you visited before? No, it's the first time. Yes, recycled from when I was working in Cheltenham.
So yeah, even though Gloucester Airport isn't an airport like Heathrow or Gatwick, you won't see airliners here or anything big. This is a lovely place to come see general aviation, so little Cessnas, Pipers. I've seen private jets here, like I think I saw a Cessna Citation jet landing, and they also have some Diamond Stars and Twin Stars, the aircraft that are used for pilot training. So yeah, this is definitely a museum and an airport worth coming to visit. You've been watching The Sundays. I'm Jett from McDowell, and I shall see you in the next one. Please make sure you give this place a visit. It is worth it.